Hello, my friends out on Facebook land. Pastor Cribbs coming to you once again here, kind of earlier today than normal, but that's okay. Had an opportunity, wanted to jump on here and share a thing or two with you before I went off and done some other things for the rest of my evening. And so a question I wanted to ask you this evening is that you've seen the title of my Facebook Live, was that are you operating on negative autopilot? It's a great question if you think about it for a moment, my friends there. You know, our world generates negative energy by default, doesn't it? I mean, just completely, always pushing it out there. And we see this in the mass communications or by the mass communications that are out there, that negativity is brought into our houses through our TVs and radios in the house. It is brought into our cars through that means, and it is brought into our heads through our earbuds that we wear with our smartphones attached to our hip that we can't seem to get 6 feet away from if we have one. And yes, I'm guilty of that too. I don't wear the earbuds all the time, but I do carry it. It is a part of our everyday life, but when we allow it to, it brings negativity into our lives as well. My friends, if we do not purposely study our thinking, I'll about bet you that you are a person of negativity. If you don't deliberately study that and see, what am I thinking, what am I putting in my head, what's coming out of my mouth, most likely it is negative. You have to think about that and look at that. This programming that we have comes from our parents' programming, from the authority figures that we're around all the time, and the other people that are in our world out there, the medias have already said, and it has put us on autopilot. We wake up, and the first thing we got to do is what? Go into the kitchen or the living room or wherever, or bedroom even, and turn the TV on so we can hear the early morning news to find out who got killed, who died, who done this over nighttime, and all these things that, that are just full of negative out there. We leave the house, we go to work, we meet the guys or the girls down at the water cooler, the coffee pot, and we chat, talk about all the negative, bad stuff that happened, all these things that went wrong. And we look at all these things. We talk about how bad the job is, how bad the boss is, and did you see her? And the list just goes on. When we leave work, if you have children, and sometimes if you don't, we go to the ball game or to the bar or somewhere else that there's other people doing what? Talking about negative stuff and acting in a negative way. And it just constantly feeds into our heads. So, do you know what we do then? After that point, we go home, and before we actually lay down at nighttime, we got to go and turn the TV on again, if it's not already been on, and listen and get our finally dose of negative news before we close our eyes so that it's working in our brains as we're laying in that bed all through the night. So it's saying, wake up in the morning and let's start again. We are on negative autopilot, my friends. We really are out there. So the question I ask you is, do you ever challenge your thinking? Do you ever look and say, am I a part of that? Or am I thinking positive? I mean, we say, you know what, I hate these people because all negative is all you hear when you're around them. Drama is all that's going on. But do we examine ourselves and say, well, that's me too? Do we ever look and say, well, I'm not that bad, but does it have to be that bad to be negative? Not necessarily. We have to always think on these things here. And we have to think of it as plucking weeds out of a garden. You know, when you dig up a garden or a spot to plant a garden and you put peas in it, what grows automatically in there? Is it the peas? No. It's the weeds. The weeds grow automatically. Negativity grows automatically in our life. And do we realize, my friends, that there are many people out there who think that, and because they're thinking in a negative state, that there's this great force out there that they can't control that's causing them to stay in the state that they're in. Whether it's negativity, whether it's poor, whether it's whatever it might be. And I don't want to be too descriptive there, but many people think, I just can't get ahead because other people are luckier than I am. And that's how they use that. When in actuality, my friends, it is our thinking. It is our thinking. You know, there's the scriptures say, as a man thinketh, so he is. As you sow, so shall you reap. Whatever you put out, that's what will come back. It doesn't matter how you word it. It is what you're putting out that you're getting back. It is a law that works every time. So examine your thoughts and put that out there. Examine, say, if I put out positive stuff, will I get positive stuff back? And the answer is yes. It is definitely yes, always, the whole time. Like I said, I go back to the garden example here, that you go out and you plant your peas in the ground. And you don't water it, you don't fertilize it, you don't hoe it, you don't do nothing. It does not grow. The weeds grow automatically. So to have a good garden, one that prospers and brings you good things, you have to go out there every day and do something to it. Whether it be to hoe it, whether it be to put fertilizer to it, pull the dirt up to the roots to keep them strong, and take the weeds out as they come up. If you do not, they will take over. My friends, we need to get off of the autopilot negative train and get onto the positive thinking train and put those things to work in our life. Instead of letting somebody else direct our life, take inventory of your thoughts and go and put it to work to make your life better, to make your spiritual life better, to make your health life better, to make your wealth life better. All three of those things work with the same premise, same thought. All require positive things to move ahead. That's how you can change your world, make the relationships that you are in much better. Get off the autopilot negative train, get on to positive. My friends, I hope you found value in this little short Facebook today. If you have, please leave a comment below. And if you would like, please share it with other people as well. I appreciate that. Thanks for stopping by, and we will see you tomorrow. Have a great evening.